Hi, welcome back to Starting Point. Now we are very delighted to welcome you here to celebrate today, June 25th, as the Day of the Seafarer, a global observance that initiated by the International Maritime Organization, or IMO, to recognize the invaluable role of seafarers in keeping global trade moving. And every year, this day invites us not only to celebrate those who work at sea, but also to reflect on their challenges, sacrifices, and how much we as coastal and island nations rely on them, even if we don't always see it.
Yes, and especially it's very important for Indonesia, a nation divided by its waters. With over 17,000 islands, we are by geography and history a maritime country. And yet, the maritime sector still remains under-discussed, underdeveloped, and too undervalued. And now we are joined by Captain Dina Kristina Tanjung, a veteran mariner. Good morning.
Good morning, Captain Dina, a
Yes.
veteran mariner, an
Yes.
expert in marine operations and assurance, a
Yes.
consultant, and also an entrepreneur. Thank you for joining us, and happy Day of the Seafarer
Thank
to you.
you.
So we are very, very delighted, and we feel it's a very special occasion as well. So before we start this dialogue, during the break, we had a chat with you, and we would want you to maybe introduce yourself to our audience and how your journey began
Okay.
as a seafarer.
Okay, then I'm Captain Dina Kristina Tanjung. I'm a seafarer. I'm starting my journey by joining this Sekolah Tinggi Ilmu Pelayaran. Before it located in Ancol, the oldest Sekolah Tinggi Ilmu Pelayaran in Indonesia, we call it Akademi Ilmu Pelayaran before, is by President Soekarno. Then from that time, AIP already produced a lot of seafarer. Then I'm joining that one. It's very prestige for us before as a seafarer to join that school. Then I was joined in 97. My cadetship training for 1 year with PT Humpus before for on tanker and sailing in Southeast Asia. Carry the goods is crude oil and black product of oil. So since that time, I'm graduate in 2001. In 2002, I'm already starting my journey as a seafarer in a European company. Since that time, I'm sailing from lowest rank of officer until the chief officer rank in foreign company. Then in 2011, I think I left the sea career because it's a bit hard for women that time to get the highest rank as a master on board. Because there's still a lot of issue for a woman to leading on board of the ship. So then I'm joining oil company, but still as a marine expert, marine advisor, marine inspector, and also mooring master. And maybe the wording is a bit difficult to understand here, but everything is related with oil and gas industry.
Okay. And we will get into that topic as well as the campaign for this year is My Harassment-Free Ship, right?
Yes.
It's a bold initiative to promote a culture of respect and zero tolerance for bullying and harassment at sea.
Yes.
But before that, maybe we could also ask Captain Dina about the Day of Seafarer
Yes, as we
itself.
know, exactly. Today is the day of the
Today is the
seafarer.
day, it's 25th of June. Every year we celebrate the day with a different theme. Then this year theme is about the harassment because lately the human factor in industry is widely known, not only in the maritime industry but also in aviation. People start looking as human. Not only as a tools but as a success factor for every activity. Like you said, it's a vital position to create a safe global trade around the world. So that's us, the seafarer, behind all invisible, unseen, unrecognizable, but we are there to support all the trading in the world.
Yes,
Yes.
behind us, those giant
Exactly.
steel
Yeah.
ships.
Yeah, like you holding the iPad. How you got it? It's transport by
Yes.
ship to here.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Because that's the most effective way since the
Yes,
old
and
days,
cheapest
right?
until this time.
Right.
Then it's already like, so it's the first trading activity is by sea.
Mhm.
And
So
speaking about this Day of Seafarers, do you think personally, from your perspective, we should celebrate it like more regularly or more
I
deep?
I think is in Indonesia is sadly for the archipelagic country, maritime country, not many people aware that we are even exist,
Yes, true.
that we are even there to support all the activities. So I think the appreciation and the recognize is like really like enlighten us and then like a support for us to keep doing this job, because not many people want to do this kind of a sacrifice to leaving the land and living abroad at sea, not
Yeah.
living abroad like in some beautiful four season country, but at sea with the storm, with all the weather, we are there and
Yeah.
do our participation in this world community.
Yes, exactly. Because we've seen on all the movies about all the seafarers, it's really struggle out there,
Yeah.
especially with the weather, and it's also life costing you about as
Yes,
well.
we are sacrificing our connection with the people, with the human that we love behind.
Yeah.
We left behind all our beloved family,
Right.
our children, and then we are doing our work and unseen. Sometimes it's like still until this time, even my friends don't know what is the uh, profession of a seafarer. What is that?
Okay, so what is the profession of seafarer? Maybe our audience and you could enlighten us as well about that. Like how simple, what do seafarers do on board, or maybe like before and after? Like how many days, the period of sailing?
So what we are doing, we are really living. Our home is on board of the ship. So we have a living quarter there. What we are doing, we doing the navigation to carry the vessel that bring a goods from one point to the other point. Whether the goods is like a cargo, container, bulk carrier, or even grain that you like a tempe and tahu, right? That's we not producing that soybean here. So it's transported from Brazil to Indonesia to other country, even from Australia to Indonesia. So we are the backbone who are doing that. So what we are doing on board is like just a working area. So every day we have a schedule, we have a rotation. Like me, my position is navigator. My responsibility for navigation or taking care of the cargo from the before loading until the loading on board until discharging and deliver it to the customer. So that's what we are doing to keep all the goods, all the vessel is safe during our transport. So we have a different role and different schedule.
Right.
And,
So basically, most of this is like commercial jobs as well.
Yes,
The responsibilities to the companies that hiring.
yes,
services.
correct.
Okay.
For the that we call it in nautical terms, we are a navigator. The
Navigator.
other part of works on board is we have also engineers and the cooks are serving us for all
The
our
meals for
food.
all the crew.
Yes, the meals
Right,
for the
okay.
crew.
And we also, you touch base and mention about how Indonesians are, and Indonesia is an archipelagic country. It is very important for us as Indonesians, especially we do have the song about seafarer.
Yes,
Yes.
we do have, but we are like lost and like not alignment with our nature and ancestor anymore about that.
Yeah.
This is our root.
Yeah, we have to tell again
The
to
kids,
our the kid,
the
the
next
next generation
generation.
about that. So Indonesia's maritime sector also, yeah, still feels underdeveloped and under discussed.
Yes.
And in your view, what are the root causes of this disconnection between geography and policy, or maybe
Because
the
the
mindset?
focus, I think, like in after the Orde Baru, maybe they are focusing in Indonesia as a agraric country, like land development, like in more into the other sector, but not in the maritime. So maritime still overlook because Java Central make the government that time thinking to develop all the industry base in Java. But actually, whatever requirement and logistic is supposed to be transport from sea. That is the main vision that time is not aligned with our nature of geographical. So this is the main course, I think, why maritime industry and maritime profession is overlooked by that the nation that time. But since President Jokowi in 2014, he already bring and mention about the poros maritim Indonesia as axis of maritime of global maritime, but it's still like a wording is good, but the implementation in all comprehensive area is not yet divine. Maybe like you are, I think always discussion about the fifth generation of the business now. When third generation of business digitalization, we are a bit left behind with the condition of reformation in 98. So in industry maritime also we like stuck in our glory in the past. So our vessel is like from 70 to 90 is like already conquered the world. Like we are one of the country that have a lot of trading in the world with our vessel is everywhere. But then since the digitalization era, since the deformation era, so this is a fall down of the shipping industry also in Indonesia that make maritime again unseen and overlooked by a lot of industry.
So it's might be like sleeping at the moment?
Currently, actually, since 2014, it's already like keep repeating the wording about the global axis in maritime. But every sector, like we are just like wake up, crawling, but not yet integrating and implementing. But we still have time because in 2045, before our vision is to be like a lighthouse of the world in maritime sector. So that means we have time about another 20 years to prepare into that pace.
I see. So in the preparation to that, to become the main one, do you think the Indonesian seafarers already have the recognition they deserve?
Like now, not yet. And then our quality is Indonesian seafarer now is the most sought by the international player actually. They need us. But then sometimes the question is the quality and the standardize is not yet as per what they required. In terms of the quality is we can talk about the character, about the outspoken, the critical thinking, and also the speaking. So we still left behind than the other country like from Brazil, from India, and as well from Philippines. So we still have a lot of homework to do with the Indonesian quality of seafarer to like be compete with the other seafarer in the world.
Is it also because of the fields of study as well that it's not really common as a choice?
Yes, I think when I was a child, if somebody asking the job profession, the question only police, lawyer, and then doctor. There is no one will answer as a seafarer. So that's not known for our young generation that there is another profession that actually contributing that much to the activity in the world. So that is the recognition, and then that is quite paradox because we are the maritime country, and then also we have the song is Nenek Moyangku Seorang Pelaut, but then we forget our root. So that's the main thing why actually I just starting to voice up actually, because my industry before in oil and gas is not allowed me to talk that much.
Okay.
But now since I'm already left that industry, so that means I can give my honest opinion on what is the situation actually.
Right. So relate to that. Now that you can speak up, so what is actually the way to improve it? Is it because of the protection, the welfare, or maybe the reintegration of this system in our
Sometimes
country?
I can see what is the produce from the Indonesia Maritime School with what the industrial needs, industrial based needs is not aligned and matched yet. So still need a lot of works from a lot of party, not only from school, not only from teacher, but a lot of party like me, like I'm speaking about this now, and then I'm also sharing on what to do on board and be a real seafarer that know our route is to navigate safely from point A to B and deliver the package, the goods. That is the main things look like simple, but actually very complex and comprehensive job you have to do on board to achieve that goals. Like you say, the sea is big, but you still hear that one vessel is colliding each other. How come? The sea is so open. It's not like we are in the street on the road. You are collide each other. It's just okay, Jakarta. You if you are not getting hit, you are hit, people. But at sea is so open. Why is still happening? So that is something that we have to address also, and then we have to work together about this.
Okay, so it's also like between seafarer and seafarer to seafarer. Is it when the harassment and bullying happen as well? That's why the campaign for this year's
It's about that.
It's about that.
Yeah, I think because IMO is not just pick up the theme without anything. There is, they will like somebody may be reporting to ITF, ILO about this kind of thing. Because the generation is different. Like mine is generation X, now is already generation G. Whatever I think is normal and usual before, for this generation is not normal and not usual. So they raise a voice. They speak what they felt. Like me, if I'm considered that time, I can say that it's a bullying. What happened to me as a seafarer woman on board, the way they treat me. But that time I said I have to fight because this is how I choose my life. What is the career I choose? So I have to fight. I don't think that is as a bullying or harassment. I just know how to survive and fight. But now, if that's happening to new generation, they will say this harassment, this is affecting my mental health. I cannot accept this, and then they're thinking that much about that harassment. They keep thinking, and then that is really affecting their mental health. And so, we cannot say what happened to them is not valid. That's how they face it.
Okay.
So there's happening actually a lot of seafarer like reporting the case of this bullying and harassment to the operator or whoever. Then that's why now the awareness is about the harassment.
Okay.
Yes, which is not only happens to women as well, but with
Everywhere,
men as well.
even men as well.
We'll go right into that more deeper, but we have to take a break first, so stay tuned with us. Hello, welcome back to Starting Point. Still with us, Ferdi Taras and Aisyah Fabian. And today we'll still have with our guest, Ibu Dina. How are you today? And we have so many interesting conversations about this bullying, harassment on the ship. So I want to relate more and deep dive on this. So the root cause, we already explained it about the undervalued. Do you think that we should do something more in our side, like the government, or?
Like today our government who are controlling or take care about the seafarer is from the, we call it Dirjen Hupla, yeah, DG. Then they are actually the one who trying to implement all the requirement from the IMO, and then seeing the news. But again, because the nature of our country is so divided, we are actually connected by sea, but our wording is we divided. So the concentration to put the same standard of the seafarer between in one industry or one island to with the other island is difficult. It's different even.
Okay.
So this is the main challenge to put the standardize of the seafarer, because of, like I told you, the seafarer is required by the global industry now, and then they are looking for Indonesia to contribute also for the quality of seafarer, but also for the local trading seafarer. We need to raise the concern about what happened in Java, in Sumatra, in the East. Indonesia is different treatment, but from our DG or Dijen Hopla is a bit hard for them to put the standardized what is actually the standard required for the seafarer in our nation like currently. So what I really wanted to say is, we are maybe like now we are talking here about the seafarer, so the awareness also from all, because TVRI is reach the nation, the Indonesian from end to end, from west to east. So we are talking about that, so everybody again remember their root, the ancestor of the seafarer. So then we treat them also like a human, like also with the same standard of living in land. So I really wish that kind of thing can be happen, and like what I can do now is only raising a voice.
Yeah.
This is a first step. Maybe after this I can do more and much rather than this, but this is my first step to talk about the seafarer.
Yeah, as a form of appreciations perhaps, yeah, to the seafarer, to be more raise the awareness as well, because we talked about the consequences, the sacrifices that the seafarers made to become the seafarers in the sea. We cannot imagine the burnout, the like
Exhaustion.
yes,
The exhaustion
everything
they
that because it's also has been a global conversation as well. It's around crew change crisis, fatigue and burnout as well. What has been your observation on these affect Indonesian seafarers in particular, or maybe in global?
Like now, because I am a consultant for the auditing of most of the ship management in Singapore. Actually, the international player, mostly they're in Singapore. I saw what in Indonesia ship management or ship owner treated their seafarer is not as bare minimum yet, even not yet a bare minimum, because they think we are a short-term worker, so no need to put long time engagement and effort with them, but actually they can be working for the same time for the same company for like 10 years, but they still treat them as a short-time worker. So that's they're trying to ignore the needs of the seafarer about the living quarter, the arrangement, the mental, the health, and then actually a lot of things have to be like recognized what they need actually, because they really sacrifice the time. Also the salary is not that even bigger than the people who working inland. So a lot of teamwork here needed to recognize what is the proper salary, the proper base and wages actually they're supposed to get for working so dangerous at
Yeah,
sea.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And it's different, the standard in Indonesia, if we compare it to other Asian countries, for instance.
Different. Our wages is really like, I don't know what is the best of calculation, because honestly I'm not working in Indonesia
Yeah.
shipping company before, but I can see even that my salary in 2002 or 3, in Indonesia still my salary higher than here at the same position. And then it's also only for the certain industry, but other industry even their salary maybe just like the same if you are working like as a, what do you call, the guard or
Yeah.
satpam or the, so this is not apple to apple. It's really what they
Yeah,
sacrifice,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then what they
Yeah.
get is not aligned. So still a lot of awareness needed
Yep.
from government, from owner, from most of the party actually, about the standard living of the seafarer.
Well, now that you're talking about salaries and standards of our Indonesian seafarers, so right now the shipping industry is really getting more automated, regulated. What do you think that we should do in order of improving our Indonesian seafarer skills and many others?
Okay, we had a lot of training actually, overburn training, because maritime now is like a over-regulated industry actually. Like we are sometimes all the seafarer talking, and then he said we are too over-regulated now. Like now even before maybe people thinking like seafarer when they are berthing, everything will gone, but now it's not, with the all requirement, all regulation, all the security and cyber security. It's not easy when we are at berth or anchorage to go ashore. Even they're not landing ashore at all in some industry. They're not really like, even we are already berth, but we are not allowed to go ashore because of the security threat and everything. So this, how to make this one work, we need a lot of simplify of regulation actually to make it works for the people on board. They are human working there. They need also to collaborate with people, to connect, real connection with the people, not only at sea but also outside of their ship. So we need a lot of working on this. It's not only training. I cannot say only like a surface of fabrication, but a deep thinking on how to create a safe environment for the seafarer, and then create a quality for the seafarer. So we call it a human factor nowadays, to put them as a human working at sea and give them a lot of their needs, basic needs they require.
So that's basically what you're doing as well at the moment, as advisor, as consultant as well. And as you are experienced in this marine assurance audits and inspections areas, many seafarers may not fully understand. Now, could you also explain why assurance standards like TMSA and OVMSA are so critical and how they affect the day-to-day life of a seafarer? Maybe you can also explain what the tanker management and self-assessment program and offshore vessel management and self-assessment itself.
This is actually initiated by oil company Indonesia International Maritime Forum. We are talking about the living standard on board of the ship, and then we are talking about the quality of the company who manage the ships. Like now we see in land transportation there is a taxi, a Bluebird, or any, or Gojek or Grab. They have a standardized system. They have a certain bare minimum standard. But ships, you can have a ship, but you can operate without proper understanding on how to operate the ship. That is the gap that nowadays in Indonesia, I think 3 years ago, Pertamina Shipping started to put all their ship under ship management because they have a standard about the operation, the maintenance, and also the people. About their working hour, the standard of salary, standard of living quarter, and then also about the human factor, the mental health. So all this one is comprehensive standard in oil and gas. Now is other industry is also adopting these methods like in container and bulk carrier. But other than that, in not industry based, how they treat everything, even the vessel, the crew, and the food is substandard because they don't have to follow. They only have to follow what is the government required. But we know in Indonesia, what's in paper is not what happened in the field. Maybe as a paper, we can say that vessel is safe to sail. Actually, everything is, we call it before is the vessel must be layak laut, is seaworthiness. Seaworthiness meaning the people, the food, the fuel, everything is supposed to be sufficient until the next voyage. But then we know all the mishap in between. They said they fulfill that. The owner said they fulfill that. But actually in the field it's not like that. So we have a lot of tools of the people already, but government have a lot of regulation. But implementation force is different criteria. And then we are a lack of the people to control this as well. Of course, this one required a lot of budget to monitor all the vessel. So that's why it's not only government have to work, but also the owner have to understand this requirement as well.
Yeah, it has to be a hand-in-hand collaboration between many parties, especially those who are in the field, and because it has the base international sea law. And how they operate is actually there.
Right?
Actually
the regulation is there. The requirement is there. But the implementation, because we are so wide, we are so big at sea, so this one, if only we depend on the government, the government cannot like monitor from like Sabang to Merauke, and also from Talaut until the what you call the Abadi Sea there. No, we don't have that kind of budget to monitor all. But we need the awareness also from the owner to like also realize your business is you are dealing with the people. So this kind of awareness we need like to raise a voice about that. Like now I'm talking here, I hope that all the owners understand there is a rule. You cannot just have a vessel but don't know how to operate in the standard way. Like before, maybe we have a busway now, standard. But before we have like a Kopaja, Metro Mini, we know that kind of transport. But now in land transport, they are changing. We hope it's also happening to the sea transportation. That is the analogy about that.
Because it will be very helpful and for all who works in the sea and all the trade that happens in the sea, the business that happens in the sea as well.
Like maybe you said the transportation of ferry nowadays. Maybe you heard the song before, Tampomas. That is what we facing. If you are not standardize your vessel, you can just like sinking with all the people there. We are here is human, it's not number. So we have a lot of work to make a safe operation at sea.
And despite of all those, the flaws, the weakness, based on your consultancy work, did you see already progress, happenings?
It's progressing. I can see because when I first joined oil company in 2011, I came from the mindset of the Singapore standard. In Singapore, most of the Singapore shipping company and flag company, even 6 months before the regulation in place, they already implement that. So I'm exposed to that kind of standard. So when I came to Indonesia, oil company is like China National Offshore Oil Company before, I saw the standard is so different, and then I'm so afraid. What happened? Why is the situation is like that? I tried to like educate most of the people. Then that time I got a lot of rejection actually. So I keep speaking already since that time in my community, in oil and gas company. Then what I'm trying to promote since 2011 happening in 2022. Pertamina starting this similar standard. Takes years, even 1 decade for my voice is actually Pertamina is starting to raise the standard. But this is Pertamina. That means that is oil and gas industry. I'm not sure about the other industry. What's happening there? What I see is a progress in the oil and gas sector. Now I'm auditing most of the company Pertamina partner, and then I saw they're progressing. It's not that like a rapid progression. It's not exponential, but it's gradually increased. So I'm also like happy to see that.
And we're also happy to hear that, especially we have the goal for 2045.
So we see gradually increase.
Yes, we still have a few years to go, but even though, okay, this is just one last question, and because it's now what we are facing at the moment, like the closure of Strait Hormuz, it must be affecting as well the life of the seafarer. How do you see it?
So what for the young generation, I want to tell that there is another profession. If maybe you heard what you call ke luar negeri aja dulu. What is kabur aja dulu ya? That is the things. You can kabur with the skills, and then you can come back here and bring your knowledge. Because like me, before I work outside, not in Indonesia, but then I come back and bring the knowledge. And then until now, I'm still here. I got a lot of offer also to like represent my company before to work as expert outside, but I choose to be here. I said, I want to deliver this message. I love this profession. I have a passion about Indonesian maritime. So I want to tell the seafarer, like raise your quality, and then you can be abroad, and you can be kabur aja dulu, and then you come back here and then share what you got outside. So we are still as a seafarer here. We still in Indonesia as a archipelagic maritime country. We can contribute here. A lot of things still need us.
Yes, true. This is a very
that is
important.
What is my reason to talk about this. Actually, I'm with some of my friends have an initiative about talking about the maritime in a podcast. It's not yet launched, but I want to talk about the maritime from end to end, not only like a seafarer, but the industry, the marine biologists, the exploration, a lot, because not many people understand that there is a sea who connect us, not divide us, not separate us.
Exactly, because we are all connected by sea.
Yes.
Land to land and everything. And that's Captain Dina Kristina Tanjung. Thank you very much for sharing your
so
insight.
much for inviting me.
Our
And then
pleasure.
I'm really excited to share this actually.
Okay, so once again, happy International Day of Seafarer.
Thank
I'm
you.
Aisyah Fabian.
And I'm Ferdi Tairas. Thank you for watching Starting Point today.